1996, the 30th anniversary of the Monkees TV series and debut album. Davy Jones, Peter Tork, Micky Dolenz, and Michael Nesmith reunited for an all-new album on Rhino Records.
We're the Monkees. That's all we need to be.
Hi, I'm Boss City Brian. Join me as I shine the album spotlight on Justus by the Monkees. Justus, the Monkees' 11th album and the first to feature all four Monkees since 1968, was released in October 1996. I first learned that the Monkees were planning a reunion album when Davy guested on Primetime Country on the Nashville Network in February 1996.
Go in the studio in about a month's time and sort of cut an album, see if we've got any sort of material that we can share, and hopefully, you know, maybe collaborate and write some other stuff. And
get some of your songs in there?
Well, you know, it's a possibility, but, you know, we're always looking for tunes. It's
right.
important to get, the tunes are important, so the best tunes will be the ones that we'll do, I hope.
Rhino Records financed the project, but the Monkees retained creative control. Although the Monkees are credited as producers, this album was the brainchild of Michael Nesmith, and he was in charge. The concept of the record was that there would be no outside performers, writers, or producers, just the four Monkees, as the title declares, just us. Mike had originally toyed with the idea of a Monkees-only type album on his record label back in the mid-70s, but it finally came to fruition in the mid-90s. So what were the results? Well, commercially, it did not make the Billboard charts, and the reviews were mixed. Entertainment Weekly printed a negative review, while LA Times reviewer Randy Lewis described the Monkees as sounding surprisingly spry and described Justus as a homecoming and an honorable one for the 90s. So let's get into the specific tracks and see for ourselves. The album leads off with a remake of Nesmith's classic Circle Sky from the Monkees feature film Head. The song exists in two excellent versions from 1968, both of which make this version superfluous. The live version from the film featured the Monkees doing their version of power trio rock, and that version is by far the best. The Justus version is Mike's only lead vocal on Justus. It contains backing vocals by all four Monkees that seem a bit odd. But the group does rock out nicely on this song, but I would have preferred a brand new Nesmith song. Reportedly, Nesmith's daughter's praise for Peter's bass playing on the live version of Circle Sky and her appreciation for other Monkee tracks helped spur Mike's revisiting of Monkees music and encouraged him to reach out to Peter and Micky to jam. And the success of those jam sessions led to the 1996-97 reunion projects, including this album. Next up is Never Enough, written and sung by Micky. This song was one of three songs on Justus that Micky had previously composed and demoed in hopes of securing a solo record deal. And like so much of this album, the heavily processed 90 drums are so prominent that they distract. There's a crunchy guitar, chords, and interesting bass line that surround Micky's post-divorce lyrics. The plodding tempo and incessant repetition of the title somehow makes this song stick into my head after listening to it. Davy's Oh What a Night follows. Like Micky, Davy had grown as a writer. This is a pleasant pop song that makes a nice album cut, and it is a highlight for me. Davy gives a good vocal performance, and the bass line is once again outstanding, and Mike provides an effective guitar solo. Mike's backing vocal on this song is noticeable because other than Pleasant Valley Sunday, I can't remember him singing backing vocals on any song from the 60s that he was not also the lead singer on. You and I follows, and it's my favorite track on this album. I believe it is the most commercial song and the song you would most expect the Monkees to record in the 90s. Davy sings lead with the harmony vocal from Micky. It was written by Davy and Micky and first appeared with Micky on lead vocals on the Dolenz, Jones, Boyce and Hart album, which was part of a mid-70s mini Monkees revival as the series entered daily syndication and a greatest hits charted. And demand for live performances led Micky and Davy to team with songwriters Tommy Boyce and Bobby Hart for concert tours in the US and Japan, and ultimately an album of new material on Capitol Records. But I believe that the Justus version is far superior. Unlucky Stars is another Micky composition, this time done in a 50s arrangement. The tempo is a bit too slow for that style, but Micky's vocal saves the track and makes for an interesting deep cut. Admiral Mike is next. This is the only new composition on the album by Mike. It is sung by Micky and is my least favorite song on the album and is always a skip for me. Micky angrily spews out the vitriolic lyrics over grinding guitars, and it's just not what I like about Monkees music. A mention of this song in that negative review in Entertainment Weekly caught the ire of Mike, who wrote a scathing rebuttal defending Admiral Mike, Never Enough, and I Believe You. He disparaged and challenged the reviewer's musical knowledge. An extinguisher must have been required to put out the fire in that letter. We are up to another Micky pen cut. This time he's singing about dying of a broken heart. Here's another interesting album cut with some ZZ Top style guitar from Mike and more of the overprocessed drums. Micky sings lyrics that are both clever and curious. It's 1996 and he's singing about living through Nixon. But the song ultimately works as a solid album cut. Up again is Micky with Regional Girl. This song proved that the Monkees could play 90s rock and that Mike could play lead guitar and sound like ZZ Top. The musicianship on this song and the entire album is top notch. Micky's lyrics are almost there as he mixed some clever lyrics with imagery that wasn't fully realized. All in all, it's one of the standout tracks. The song was featured in the Monkees' 1997 ABC TV special, but Micky had to dub in alternate lyrics to replace the Jug references. Peter Tork's song, Runaway from Life, follows. Davy sings this song, but I'm not sure if it's a good fit for his voice. The song is intentionally not very melodic, which is appropriate for this, for the imagery-laden lyrics. This is not one of my favorites, but you expect and appreciate unusual contributions from Peter, so it deserves a spot on the album. Peter's only lead vocal is the next track, I Believe You. This song, written by Peter, is hard to describe. The odd minimalistic arrangement evokes a dark, uneasy, almost foreboding vibe. It has odd time signatures, jazzy piano riffing, and unconventional harmonies. The listening experience is an adventure, and if it lived on an album with stronger material, it would be a fun, oddball excursion, but in the context of Justus, it feels more like a head scratcher. But I must say that Peter's vocals had improved a lot since his work from the 60s, and they work well on this song. Track 11 is It's My Life, with Micky singing lead on his composition. It's a simple, heartfelt, reflective song, well served with a tuneful, tasteful arrangement, and a good lead vocal from Micky. Another nice album cut. Closing out the album is Davy's It's Not Too Late. I personally think this was one of Davy's best compositions. I really enjoyed the version I heard him perform on that February '96 episode of Primetime Country. It had a faster tempo, with piano and pedal steel being the most prominent instruments. So there you have it, Justus, the Monkees' full reunion album. By excluding all outside contributions, it seems as though the Monkees thought that they still had something to prove. But I believe by that time in history, no one really cared about their supposed prefabrication, except for maybe the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame voters, and a 90s album from the Monkees could never be enough to change those minds. So ultimately, Justus is a collection of mostly solid, listenable, well-played songs with a 90s rock sound. There's nothing that sounds like a hit or anything that resembles classic Monkees, and there was not enough from Nesmith. Outstanding songs are a trademark of their best albums, and I don't really find any here. But there is a lot here for Monkee fans to like, and it was fun to have a Monkees reunion album in 1996. And it is still fun to look back and reflect on it. The album sold 63,000 copies, which is less than half of what Pool It sold, but comparable in sales to mid-90s albums by other classic groups like the Kinks and Cheap Trick. A month after the album was released, the four Monkees performed a mini concert at Billboard Live, performing a few songs from Justus and a few classics. And they were booked to appear on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno on New Year's Eve that year, but they canceled when ABC offered a primetime TV special and stipulated that it needed to be their first network TV reunion. The special, Hey Hey We're the Monkees, aired on February 17, 1997. Written and directed by Michael Nesmith, the peculiar show had some funny bits and interesting music videos, but failed to capture the magic of the original series. And even though it was great to see the four of them doing monkey business together, it was disappointing. The four of them spent March of 1997 touring arenas in the UK. The reactions from the sold-out audiences were enthusiastically positive, but the British press was brutal. The negative reviews helped sour Nesmith on the reunion shows, and he dropped out of the already scheduled spring US tour. The other three carried on with a scaled-down tour while Mike worked on a movie script for a Monkees film for Paramount Pictures, a film that was never made. And shortly before Davy's passing in 2012, there was talk of the four reuniting to perform Headquarters in concert in its entirety. But sadly, their last performances as a quartet was those UK shows in 1997. Thank you so much for watching our album spotlight on Justus. And if you have any thoughts, opinions, or memories of Justus, please add them to the comments. And if you'd be so kind to like and subscribe, I'd be very appreciative. Well, this has been Boss City Brian, and until next time, I'll be baking burgers in a basement. Bye for now.